Yellowstone supervolcano's hotspot. Insights into this. The hotspot is well known for generating supereruptions in the geologic past that are far more explosive than historic examples. This is by Geological Society of America. The Yellowstone hotspot, well known for generating supereruptions in the geologic past that are far more explosive than historic examples. The origin and sustained longevity of the hotspot is less understood, but is focused on two competing models where the ascent of hot mantle is derived from either a deep-seated mantle plume or a shallow mantle source. In their study published in GSA, Vic Camp and Ray Wells used an integrated database that supports the idea of a deep mantle plume origin for the Yellowstone hotspot with a robust history of magnetism that extends to at least 56 million years ago, far older than previously thought. So in this scenario, hotspot volcanism began offshore and then it migrated to the east-northeast across northeastern California, northern Nevada, southeastern Oregon, and southern Idaho. That's where we had yesterday's earthquake swarm, the biggest being 4 magnitude. It shook the Yellowstone supervolcano area. So into southern Idaho, across the craters of the moon area there, and to its current position at Yellowstone National Park. This long-lived path of hotspot migration is marked by a belt of aligned volcanic provinces that display progressively younger ages to the east-northeast, similar to the age progression produced by southwest motion of the North American plate over a fixed Yellowstone hotspot. And this, as we said, is from the Geological Society of America on Science Daily. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. And these are the super eruptions back to 16 to 17 million years ago. As you can see, the progression goes east-northeast into today's caldera, and it has gone through craters of the moon in Idaho, where we had yesterday's quake swarm, the biggest being 4 magnitude. Now, what happens under the Yellowstone volcano? Processes deep inside the earth. The GFS Geoforschungszentrum Potsdam Helmholtz Center says, Yellowstone National Park in the U.S., with its geysers and hot springs, is a great attraction for tourists, but especially in times of little news, the media often focuses on Yellowstone supervolcano. Its last supereruption was 630,000 years ago. Inevitably, then the question of underlying geological structures will be posed. A recent study at Bernhard Steinberger of the German Geoforschungszentrum and colleagues in the USA helps to better understand the processes in the Earth's interior. The paper, released in Geochemistry, Geophysics, Geosystems, published by American Geophysical Union, is based on modeling the Earth's mantle. And according to the model, beneath the Yellowstone volcano lies a so-called mantle plume, a chimney-like structure that reaches thousands of kilometers deep to the border of the Earth's core and mantle. The origin of the plume lies under the Baja California, more than 1,000 kilometers southwest of the national park. Evaluations of earthquake waves had already suggested something like this, but the idea of such a mantle plume did not fit in with the movements of the Earth's lithospheric plates. It's clear that Yellowstone is a so-called intraplate volcano. Most volcanoes in the world are located at the borders of continental plates, either where material from the Earth's interior rises, as in Iceland, or where other continental plates emerge under the other melts, as in the case along the American west coast. Now, another place where we have mantle plume is Iceland, as we said, and also La Palma, the Canary Islands. That's another area of mantle plume. We had another supereruption there 700,000 years ago. So, in contrast to plate boundary volcanism, Intraplate volcanism goes back to hotspots under the Earth's crust. This can be imagined as a welding torch that melts the lithosphere from below, where a hole is virtually burned through. A volcano grows, and this is how Hawaii, for example, came into being. The seismic data for Yellowstone, though, did not provide a clear picture for a long time. This has changed due to new data and refined measurement methods, which have allowed the deeper part of the plume to be imaged in a tomographic image. But gaps remain in the upper mantle. The data were not so clear here. The study from GFZ now fills these gaps with the modeling result that maps the mantle, the plume, consistently with the observation data. And accordingly, there are slow movements of the rock in the lower mantle of the Earth, which are detected southwest relative to the surface. Like the plume of smoke of a steamship, the mantle plume moves from Baja California to the north-northeast to the Yellowstone Volcano. Bernhard Steinberger says our study contributes to a better understanding of intraplate volcanism and supports the hypothesis of a deep mantle plume. However, this has no impact on the risk assessment of the Yellowstone volcano. This is on Science Daily. And here you have the progression of the continental plate, the North American continent, over the mantle plume. You can see that the older is on the southwestern part, and it gets younger as you go northeast to where the location of Yellowstone caldera is today. And this is the mantle plume originating from Baja California. But it's not just this. We're going to see in new maps the fact that this mantle plume is actually split into a Y. The western branch goes under San Andreas Fault and the Walker Lane Fault System, where we have the high threat volcanoes of California, and the right-hand branch, the eastern branch, goes under Baja into Salt Lake City, into the Yellowstone caldera, today's area. And we also have the mantle plume, as we can see here. You can see the top part of this left-hand diagram showing that it also turns west, and you can see it's midway between Yellowstone and the Pacific Ocean under Idaho. And it's very close to the surface, as you can see. Okay, the left-hand area shows the depth, and as it rises up into Yellowstone and also under the crater of the moon area of Idaho, where it's less than 5 kilometers depth, 3 miles down. And these are the progressions, as you can see, in depth. Okay, so the left-hand side shows you basically Yellowstone. And also the bottom left-hand side, you can see where it turns under San Andreas Fault and the Walker Lane Fault System, the high-threat volcanoes of California. So this is what we have to keep in mind, what's going on there as far as the mantle plume coming from Baja. And this just came out a few years ago. So this is new information as to what's happening under the West Coast, basically. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.